Family Time 156. We're talking about adaptation. Last week we were discussing stress and how stress isn't necessarily a bad thing. We need some stress in our lives. It's stress that allows us to grow, to learn, to adapt. And that's what we're talking about. We human beings are the dominant living force on planet Earth, not because we're the biggest or the fastest or the strongest, but because we are the most adaptable. That's something we have. It's been said that man is a creature who can get used to anything. And that is a powerful tool. Unfortunately, we can get used to negative things as well as we can get used to positive things. We can get used to a bad diet, an unhealthy lifestyle, because we just think, well, this is how I'm supposed to feel. We get used to things. We can get used to a negative relationship because we think, well, this is just the way it's supposed to be. I guess this is how people treat each other. We can get used to all manner of negative things in our lives. We can get used to mental health issues and depression because we think this is just the way that I am. This is just the way that I'm going to feel. But it's important to flip that script, to recognize that we are adaptable creatures. And the same thing that allows us to get used to negative things can be used as a weapon so that we can learn and grow and change and adapt to a new existence, adapt to the reality we want to have. And all we really have to do is find those repeatable practices, the things that we've talked about, and implement them routinely in a disciplined manner, knowing full well that we will adapt, that we will get stronger. And we see that whenever we make life changes and we actually stick to it, that we get used to feeling a different way. We get used to different things. And sometimes in our lives, we're thrown into different situations, different circumstances over which we have little control. And somehow, some way, we find a way to change, to meet those circumstances. It happens all the time when there are sort of emergency scenarios in our lives. We find a way to figure it out. Now, if we can understand that and make that a superpower, then we can decide, all right, I need to adapt to this thing. I need to do something differently. And the happiest people, the people most at peace with their lives, aren't necessarily the people who are given the most things, who had the easiest breaks. It was the people who are most adaptable. And that doesn't mean you just have to go with the flow. There is great value in accepting things as they are and in not overly judging things. But that doesn't mean that we have to be complacent and just say, well, it is what it is. I don't have a say in the matter. It's important to have radical acceptance for the way things are currently, and then to recognize that through adaptation, we can change ourselves. We may not always have control over the situation, over our circumstances, but we can certainly change ourselves. And once we believe that, then we can implement our plans. We can use those disciplines to make the adaptations we need. And then we can change and get closer to that picture in our head of where we really want to be. We can change ourselves to get there. This week, I want you to write down, I want you to think about times in your life where you've had to adapt, positive or negative, where you had to get used to a different situation. And then we're going to start using that thing that's built into all of us, that innate ability to adapt, and we're going to start weaponizing it. Until next time, Much love.